Leadership. Leadership and discipline. For the past, I'm 50 now, so for the past, I would say 45 years, I've been the junior to seniors in ministry and in the secular world. And I know the frustration when I encounter people who want leadership that will not discipline rebellion or insubordination or even just sloppy work to command the respect of somebody. Sometimes it's nepotism, sometimes it's favoritism, sometimes it's politics. But it causes a chain reaction where the entire canon or standard of your workforce, your team, your crew becomes imbalanced. They're all doing their job. All your lieutenants are leading the way you told them to. That's called faithfulness. Your Delta workers, you're honoring them and showing them respect for their faithfulness and their diligence. And you're dealing with a rebel within, someone who's a usurper, someone who won't do what you've told them to do. So why are they even here? Why are you allowing that? I know in the secular work world, if you're not the executive chair, you don't have that executive call. If you're part of a ministry and you're not first chair or at least part of the executive table, you can't, there's only so much you can do. You can request, you can counsel with people, your seniors, about this. And sometimes it's compromised. Sometimes, there's a relative that is, working in the ministry that isn't working in the ministry. Catch that? They're on payroll. And you're earning their paycheck for them. And you feel disrespected. You feel you're not appreciated. It's not pride. It's honor. There's a study about, alpha pups, beta pups, delta pups, and omega pups. And then gamma pups are just so embittered. They're the ones that end up shooting people in the mall and, because the world just doesn't bow to them. And they all have a purpose, all have a positive purpose. Your lieutenants will do what they tell you to do, what you tell them to do. And they want respect. They want loyalty. Same thing with your Delta force. When they are workers. They are experts. They're not leaders. They don't want your leadership position. They're not there to take over. They are good junior armor bearers to your senior armor bearers, which is your beta dogs. And what they want is respect. They want to be appreciated for their loyalty. And if you show it to them, they'll give you more. You show gratitude. You create a mutual beneficial society there where you are appreciating them and telling them how much you appreciate them. They'll serve you all the more if they're righteous. But then you have somebody who's in there that won't do what they're told. They're stealing a paycheck. They're stealing someone else who should be in that position. And if you're the executive chair in that ministry or organization and you permit it, you're asking for that spirit of rebellion to leaven the whole lump. Where your Delta workers, your experts who are your blue collar workers, the ones who are boots on the ground, they're going to start not doing their job. And they're going to start resenting you for not dealing with this rebel, this usurper, this lazy person who won't pull their weight. Same thing with your lieutenants, your beta people. They're going to be like, why do we have to have this person on the team? So it is in your best interest to man up and woman up as the executive chair, the first chair of your organization or department, and deal with this with calm authority, with directness, with no, how would I put this? You know, have you seen a parent that threatens a kid with punishment and they don't follow through with it? They know they're not going to get in trouble, so they continue to do it. They continue to do it, continue to do it. And you're looking at them like, oh, me, this is not my kid. This is my kid. I'd be smacking some butts. I'd be taking away privileges. I'd be shutting the thing down. Because the moment you tolerate disrespect, you've programmed that child to disrespect authority. You are part of the demonic agenda in that child to have a harder life. Good job. No, I'm being actually sarcastic. Not a good job. Not righteous. Because that kid's going to get fired, or that kid's going to go to jail, or that kid's going to get divorced, or that kid's going to have a lot of problems in relationships, all because you didn't man up as a father, woman up as a mother, man up as a pastor, woman up as a pastor, or a boss, a manager, and say, oh, come here. You're here, and this is how we're going to have, the kind of relationship we're going to have. You're going to respect me, and I'm going to lead you with respect and honor. You disrespect me by not doing what I told you to do, then there is no relationship. I'll replace you. That's the deal. You can't touch me because this, that, and the other. Well, there are situations in the world because of politics and, you know, everybody's getting all liquid in their integrity and what's right and wrong right now. And if you're not the boss of bosses, you're within that organization, it's difficult. But there's ways around that. You can start decreasing their schedule. You can start limiting their rewards. When there's bonuses, they don't get one. You document their behavior. You call in other people from other departments to grade their work so they can't run to HR and complain like it's some petty. No, this vice president came over, graded their work, and gave them a report, and I talked with them. There's no backlash. There's no retaliation. You can't run to HR and cry victim because your character is not a protected status. Your work ethic is not a protected status or lack thereof. Just because you're black, just because you're a minority, just because you're female, just because you're of a certain religion, just because you're of a certain tax bracket, you are accountable for your actions. Your actions represent your character. Not your words, not your charm, not your puff, your actions. When I'm at my secular job, I preach with my work ethic. I don't preach with my mouth. Many people probably don't even know I'm a Christian, but they know I'm solid. They know I respect authority. They know I do my job with excellence. They know I'm a solid guy. Now, if I see them out in the street, especially when I go full time, they're going to know I'm a preacher of Jesus with no apologies. Well, hey, he wasn't some lazy head trip Christian that sat around making everything into a therapy session. He was a doer. So leadership that won't correct, leadership that compromises standards for favoritism and nepotism and politics, loses favor with their juniors. And they deserve to lose them. God will open a door for somebody else, for them to work for somebody else or to have their own. they'll bless them. God will bless them and honor them, especially if they love the Lord and they're called according to his purposes. It won't be long that you might even be asking them for a job. Because when the righteous rule, people rejoice. When the wicked rule, people moan. And that word wicked is not just, off the chart evil. That word wicked can just be poorly done. That's slipshod. A lack of excellence. And when it's tolerated, it germinates. And when you're the executive chair, or when there's nobody to look to except for you, when you're the leader, it's time for you to have a sit down with those people. Come to Jesus moment, as they say. Say, listen, this is your work performance. This is what you're doing. I see it. You need to come in. You need to earn your paycheck. This is not a grace thing. You receive grace and favor to do righteousness. His goodness is to lead you to righteousness. It's not to have a license to sin. Pull your weight, or consequences will take place. Well, don't you know who I am? I'm so-and-so's, nephew. I'm so-and-so's kid. You want a biscuit? Huh? You want a little, what do you think that's special? You think I'm going to tip the scales in nepotism and favoritism because you're so-and-so's favorite? I will not compromise my integrity for politics. I will not compromise my integrity before the Lord. Because whether I'm in a secular entrepreneur position or I'm in ministry, my behavior represents my character. Looking the other way for you will only breed corruption in my stewardship before the Father. I've spoken enough. Peace and love as you work out your own salvation. In Jesus' name.